Have you ever stopped to think about what happens when someone born different suddenly stops being that way? Imagine spending your whole life as the special one, the girl who moves objects with her mind, defeats monsters, and saves the world, and then, with the snap of the fingers, it's all gone. That's exactly what happened to 11. At first, it seemed like nothing could stop her. After the Battle of Starcourt, everyone believed she'd continue being the unstoppable heroine. But when she tried to use her powers, nothing, no rumble, no flickering lights, no nosebleed, just silence. The scene is almost painful to watch. 11. The girl who faced the Mind Flayer and closed portals to the Upside Down now stands powerless before something so simple, a locked door. Her face blends confusion and fear as if a fundamental piece of her identity had simply vanished. And that's where a new journey begins. Not a fight against monsters, but something far more intimate, a battle for identity. Remember how she first arrived in Hawkins, a child escaping from a lab, lost in a world she didn't understand. Over time, she built a family. Mike, Dustin, Lucas, Will, Hopper, Joyce, all believing in her power. But when the powers fade, a cruel question emerges. Who is 11 without them? The shift becomes even clearer when the Byers family moves to California, away from her friends and the city that witnessed her greatest battles. She tries to live as a normal teenager. School, parties, bullying, crushes, none of it comes with a manual, especially for someone who spent her childhood as a lab experiment. The scene where she tries to explain who she was to her classmates hits like a punch to the gut. She talks about being a hero, about saving the world, and gets laughter in return. Nobody believes her. The powerful girl becomes just the school weirdo. And the cruelest part, deep down, she starts doubting herself too. Before we continue, let me share something that can change how you protect your files and videos. Imagine storing everything you create, scripts, recordings, edits, on an ultra-resistant external SSD that can handle even the wildest adventures. That's right, the lossy, rugged SSD Pro 2TB is exactly that. Shockproof, dustproof, waterproof, and insanely fast. Perfect for heavy video work or just keeping your projects safe. It is the kind of gear that saves your work when everything else goes wrong, just like 11 trying to rebuild herself. Back to our story. Losing her powers isn't just physical, it's emotional, symbolic. Before 11 solved problems with the strength of her mind. Now, she has to face the world with words, feelings, and choices. Things that were always harder for her than facing monsters. Instead of lifting trucks, she has to learn to defend herself from humiliation, deal with insecurity, and understand that strength doesn't always come from the mind. Sometimes it comes from the heart. One of the most intense moments is at the skating rink confrontation. There, powerless and cornered, she makes an impulsive decision to fight back in a human way. And in that scene, we realize her lack of powers doesn't make her weaker, just more real. But of course, Stranger Things wouldn't be Stranger Things without its mysteries. While she's trying to adapt, the past literally comes knocking. Project Nina emerges, an experiment that promises to help her find herself again. But the process is painful. She's forced to revisit traumatic memories. The lab, Brenner, the missing children, the massacre. It is a deep dive into what made her who she is, and maybe explains why her powers vanished. Deep down, 11 isn't just trying to get her powers back. She's trying to understand who she is without them. And that quest is far harder than flipping vans. Notice how this series flips the script. Before, the drama came from monsters and the supernatural. Now, it comes from humanity. By losing her powers, 11 gains something she may never have had, the chance to just be a girl who feels, fails, loves, hurts, and has to grow like anyone else. But is that normality truly freedom? Or just another invisible cage? 11's powerless journey ISNT. Just a break from the spectacle of it. Essay narrative turning point. It shows us that even the most extraordinary heroes must redefine themselves when the source of their extraordinary disappears. And maybe, just maybe, true power lies in the ability to keep going, even when everything's gone. And you can't help but wonder, when the extraordinary fades away, what remains? Who are we? When we stop being who we always thought we were,